Well, I gotta give you guys a confession. You know this sound? That has never been alcohol, ever. It has always been sparkling water. However, the alcohol drink that has been drunk on stream, or on the recording, has always been rum. We just don't have any as of right now. But anyway, on to actual important things in particular. We're going into an another wonderful guild war. Just so happens to be the last one of the year. So, what are we fighting? Well, it's Conqueror Lilias, Abyssal Yufine, and Navy Captain Landy. 3 really, really cancerous units. So, what better thing to do than to bring one healer, who also happens to be a revive unit, martial artist Ken, who is there to beat the ever-loving fuck shit out of anything that actually hits him, case in point, and then also Yulha, who's there to just kind of tank a little bit of that extra damage and soak some stuff up. Because otherwise, I don't have enough bulk on my martial artist Ken. He would have more than likely been dead by now if not for the Aureus that's on Yulha. Look at the damage that she's taking. Now, I did make one very, very stupid call in the very, very early settings of this because I almost never use martial artist Ken, so I have very little experience with him, and I firmly believe that I do need to rebuild him. One thing I did is I tried to cleanse him early on of the attack down that he had early on with the Rule of Lights S2. Yeah, then my waterhead retarded brain just happened to remember, oh yeah, Abyssal Yufine's just going to straight up keep applying the attack down no matter what I do, so I straight up wasted that. But either way, through Martial Artist Ken Retaliation S2s into everything that goes into him, he straight up murders everything that follows, and the only thing that he didn't kill was the Abyssal Yufine, who then also had Holy Sacrifice. Will kill her with Yulha's S3, because she just took a ton of abuse throughout the whole thing. Then when her S3 procs, we kill her then. Woo! Fun, huh? But either way, time to talk about this other team. Ran, Senya, and Lilias. I said Senya, right? Whatever. Hey, it's the last Guild War of the day. We're probably going to fuck up all kinds of shit. But either way, the big thing with this team in particular that I've most certainly noticed is when I am utilizing this team of Christy, which is Silvertide Christy, the oh-so-wonderful spec change of her, Lone Crescent Bellona, and Elena, I have straight up not lost to this team yet. And quite frankly, I don't think I ever will. The only things that could possibly go wrong is if you threw a wild ball or just a wild curveball at this. The only things in particular I think would do it is a very high effectiveness Lilias to possibly provoke the Elena on her S2 like proc. But other than that, I really don't see anything else that can go wrong. The only other thing that can happen is if Ran happens to 2311 you, which this was a RNL Ran, which pretty much it's a 50-50 shot as to who he's going to go into after the first initial S2 from Elena. He's either going to go into Elena or he's going to go into Lone Crescent Bellona. Good news is, if you're fighting a real Ran, because Christy's there, you're not going to be dealing with Death Break and stuff like that that's on Lone Crescent Bellona. If you're fighting an Effectiveness Ran, you're more than likely going to be dealing with being stripped and also having Death Break and possibly Stigma. The good news is, if they are an effectiveness-based Ran, they shouldn't deal enough damage to absolutely break your team. But once again, I haven't really fought a 2311 yet. However, if it's any other Ran, it's kind of free. You just go into the Ran accordingly, kill it with the S3 from Lone Crescent, eventually kill the Lilias, and then just kill the Senya whenever that's all you have left. It works so well because the damage goes into your other 2 bruisers really, really well, and you're able to just cycle through. Now, time for this oh-so-wonderful fun team. Like, I was going into this and I was like, well, I didn't really think of anything in particular that was interesting to fight this with. So I was like, okay, so Unbound Knight Arowell is going to be our barrier giver. We have another light unit on the team that's going to be Navy Captain Landy, so there's 2 barriers we can immediately just kind of burn with the Desert Jewel Basar S2. And then we also happen to just have Edward there. Edward, for some fucking reason, does not crit the Roana, and then also does not injure him. So I have no clue what kind of gear this Edward is rocking. But either way, after that first initial hit, where the Edward doesn't even injure, I straight up already have this in the bag. I could go into the Edward more just to proc Equivalent Exchange Rises, just to get a little bit more cycling on Dark Corvus's S3. But ultimately, I don't really decide to do that because we're not dealing with any injury whatsoever. And I decided to skip this turn here because I want to use the S3 in its full power whenever I have Soul Burn on the next turn, which is why I'm going to use the S3 on Roana, build up some extra soul, and then it should be Desert Jewel Basar's turn next. Doesn't matter. We have the souls that we need now. Once again, what just sucks so bad about Desert Jewel Basar, it really feels like his S2 just needs 1 turn less cooldown. But either way, we were able to deal with it. The Navy Captain Landy went again, killed her own barrier, and now all we are dealing with is just escort on Unbound Knight Arowell. Whenever she doesn't have a barrier and she just has to deal with damage sharing with escort, we can just straight up kill her. And now all we have left is Unbound Knight Arowell and Edward. So in this particular situation, I was kind of expecting in post editing. Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this part. It's not like you guys really need to see Dark Corvus shenanigans going through this, but it just so happens we cycle so fucking fast. And also, the Unbound Knight Arowell did her S3 yet again, that we can use S2 again. Bam! That's even more damage onto the Unbound Knight Arowell. We can straight up kill the Unbound Knight Arowell now, and if we were able to get the hit, like if we were hit right here, we could have gone into Edward with Devil's Descent. Whatever, we go into Unbound Knight Arowell, we happen to kill her because she just took that much damage from the barrier inversions that Desert Jewel Basar was giving, and now right here, well, no reason not to save the S3 now. We'll just throw that motherfucker out, boost the team up, and Shazam, next turn that Dark Corvus gets, which is now, we can soul burn Devil's Descent into Edward. Straight up, that's pretty much that match in a nutshell. Why am I still talking? Don't know. And now on to this match right here. So, of course, we get the oh-so-wonderful, bad luck of we went first before the Conqueror Lilias. However, this isn't the end of the world. 2 reasons. We also didn't get a Magic Her Friends proc right there, which is also good. But here's the thing. We decided to hit into her first, and nothing happens from this point on. We also straight up resisted all of Conqueror Lilias' stuff. Now here comes Spirit Eye Celine. Now we're going to give the whole team immortality. Oh, noes. Guess what? Sinful Angelica has immortality now. So after this attack right here, which is then going to go into the whole team, also happens to hit Spirit Eye Celine, we're going to retaliate, which, guess what? That was an injury Mercedes, too, by the way. We also happen to proc Dust Devil, which, amazing, because I finally actually switched to Dust Devil instead of just being on Candle, or Prophetic Candlestick. Now that we've dealt with the Mercedes, we can now actually go into Sinful Angelica's mechanics and using S3. It's not like this is really going to be that big of a deal. I was just nervous going into this because I was unsure how all of this stuff was going to work together when it came to fighting Abyssal Yufine. But it was right around here that I then noticed, oh, that's mature sunglasses. So we're not dealing with Holy Sack, and it doesn't really matter. Also, we straight up still had Possession buff up. So even if the Abyssal Yufine was going to go absolutely crazy on us and use S3, the worst thing that would happen would be that she would eventually kill the Sinful Angelica, but then we would retaliate with the attack from Spirit Eye Celine, which would just absolutely murder her. And that's really the only thing that could possibly go wrong, and we had Destina here as well for the additional revive shenanigans that we'll do, just in case Sinful Angelica goes down and Spirit Eye Celine goes down. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this bad match. So, there's no avoiding it or anything like that. I was a retard, and I went into this in the worst possible way that you could possibly do it. So, I decided to go with Green Iseria and Dark Corvus, and then because of my own fear of injury from the Sharun, I decided to bring Angelic Montmorancy, completely forgetting the other stuff that Sharun actually does. So, before you look at this, you could immediately say, oh, well, I mean, this isn't too bad. Well, here's where shit gets fucked up. Angelic Montmorancy is a good cleanser. She is not a complete cleanser. Shazam. She cannot cleanse all 4 of those buffs at once, and we've been provoked. So, we straight up can't use this time to go into Abyssal Yufine like we initially planned. So, yeah, we can go on ahead and put the immunity that's up on Dark Corvus so that he won't get reset as of right now, but things are not boding well. It was right here that I really start to realize, oh man, I really, really fucked up. Now, if I had Destina with me instead, things would look a lot better. And the only reason why I even brought Angelic Montmorancy is just so, oh yeah, Sharun's just going to go into Dark Corvus otherwise. Well, we did make another mistake, and I'll get to it in just a second. But right here, we go into our first attack into Abyssal Yufine. We happen to soul burn it, and then we'll just go ahead and delete her out of the game because we don't have a lot of injury that's accrued yet. Okay, cool. She's dead. But now, here's where the loop starts. Conqueror Lilias is always going to go into Dark Corvus. She also happens to bring anybody on the team for an additional S1 attack with a free dual attack. Well, who's the one unit that's on her team? Gonna be Sharun. So now Sharun is going to be attacking into me with Venom, and she's going to be resetting me constantly. And I'm also going to be constantly reset over and over and over and over again. So that's essentially what you're seeing right here. We go on for about 70 fucking turns just to get to draw. Like, seriously, straight up, they can't kill me, but I can't kill them. Because I've tried before, and I had too much injury on me, and I straight up could not one-tap the Sharun because she also had Celestine. So, and she was on counter. So it was just too much stuff going into it, and it was my own fault for bringing a HP scaling unit into an injury unit, thinking it would work. Whoops! But either way, now let's go into this final match right here. So it's Ocean Breeze, Lilica, Urban Shadow Shoe, and ae-KARINA. Well, seeing as how we're fighting a bunch of focus-based horse shit, let's bring Solitary of the Snow to completely turn focus off, because straight up, I don't want to deal with any of that shit. Because straight up, that's where like Ocean Breeze Lilica is really, really strong, is because she will respond in kind to your non-attack skills, and then she'll like strip your whole fucking team. And then also Urban Shadow Shoe will do so much goddamn injury so fast with her S3, and her S3, like with fully focused, will delete even like really, really big tank busters. She will build injury so fast, it is insane. Which is why I refuse to play that game. So what we decided to do, and also they also brought ae-KARINA, just to be annoying as fuck as well. Because, hey, that's a big bruiser unit that'll straight up just delete anything that is even somewhat squishy. So what we're going to do is, we'll have Auxiliary Lots with us, who's going to be able to boost up Watcher Sherry anytime that I please. And on turn 1, we'll just straight up use our complete death pinning skill that Watcher Sherry has, and I know how much damage he does, which is like in the 32k or something range. I could do a lot of damage with him. We're not dealing with damage mitigation of any kind here. Yeah, we'll just delete the unit. So the only thing that could have happened is, hey, what if the ae-KARINA was on, like, say, Holy Sack? Pretty rare you ever see an ae-KARINA on Holy Sack. So, hey, cool, we'll just go into that, kill that, and then over time, depending on if we're able to get stuns or anything like that on Urban Shadow Shoe, which we happen to get 2 of them, and we'll just kill her with S1s from Watcher Shuri, because he still does a lot of damage. And then whenever we get the opportunity to, we'll S3 into Ocean Breeze Lilica, because don't give a fuck about your HP or your def. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And, ladies and gentlemen, that's the GuildWar. Yay! Aren't you so happy that it was the final GuildWar of the year? Well, there's not much else to really talk about, other than, I guess, a few other things in particular can just kind of weigh whatever's on my mind as of right now. So, when it comes to Epic 7, how do I feel about it for this year? 2023 was pretty good. There was a couple of rocky moments in it whenever it came to Epic 7. I certainly will, I'll admit that. But, I do hope that things will get a lot better in 2024. In all honesty, I'm really hoping that something in comparison to the Awakening event that like everybody fucking hated comes in 2024. And it's just not an imprint form of system, because that's the big thing that everybody hated about it. I don't know. I just want to see some more change with some of these older characters, because, quite frankly, we're fighting the same stuff over and over and over again. And unless you have those very, very specific things that fight into those specific things, we're just going to see like the same, 15-something characters for every single fucking match. And I don't know, man. That's just the way in which it is, but like I hope we start to see some real shakeups coming really soon in 2024. Here's hoping that it actually does, because I really do like this game. I want it to improve. The biggest reason why I complain, the biggest reason why I like to just talk a lot of mad cash money shit about like a lot of characters is because I want to see the other characters that are straight up forgotten receive use and then come in and straight up break the back of some meta characters. It does generally feel good. And the only other thing I also wanted to say is to everybody who is either subscribed to me or anyone who has seen my content or been around with me for a while, I greatly appreciate everything that you guys have ever done. I greatly appreciate that you guys do still watch my content. And I can't express in words just how happy I am of where I am today. But hey guys, if you like this video, go on ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, go on ahead and hit subscribe. I'll see you next year. Later.